The strange thing is, Jason wasn't scared when he got the court summons. His eye became clear 3 months later, and by then, the fear was real. You know, the kind of fear that wakes you up at 3 a.m. in the morning? That kind of fear that makes your stomach feel hollow, wondering how everything went so wrong? On the day it all started, he wasn't even scared at all. In fact, he was only annoyed. Please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification so you can be notified the next time we drop another video. So, it was a Thursday afternoon, one of those ordinary days that nobody remembers. Jason had just gotten home from work. His shirt smelled faintly of machine oil, his back hurt, his feet hurt. All he wanted was a shower and something to eat. As he walked toward his front door, he noticed a man standing on the porch. The man wasn't dressed like a police officer. He wasn't dressed like a lawyer either. Just a normal-looking guy holding a folder. "Jason Carter?" the man asked. Jason nodded. The man handed him several papers. "These are for you." Jason looked confused. "For me?" "Yes." The man turned around and walked away. That was it. No dramatic speech, no explanation, no warning, just papers. Jason stood there for several seconds, staring at them. Then he walked inside. He tossed his keys onto the counter, dropped the papers on the kitchen table, and went straight to the shower. An hour later, he sat down with a plate of food and finally looked at the documents. The first page contained words he had never expected to see beside his name. Summons. His eyebrows narrowed. What the hell is this? He kept reading. The documents claimed that a former business associate was suing him. According to the lawsuit, Jason owed money from a failed venture that had collapsed nearly 2 years earlier. Jason laughed. Actually laughed, not because it was funny, because he thought it was ridiculous. The project had failed. Everyone knew it had failed. Nobody made money, nobody succeeded. In Jason's mind, the entire thing was ancient history. So when he read the lawsuit, he wasn't worried. He was irritated. This guy can't be serious. He continued reading. Near the bottom of one page was a deadline, a date, a very important date, the date by which he needed to respond. Jason saw it. He understood what it meant. Then he did something thousands of people do every year. He convinced himself it wasn't urgent. The papers went back into the envelope. The envelope went into a kitchen drawer, and the kitchen drawer closed. For Jason, the matter was finished. At least, that's what he thought. The next morning, he went to work. Nothing happened. The day after that, nothing happened. A week later, still nothing happened. No police officers, no court appearance, no angry lawyers, no dramatic consequences. Life continued exactly as it had before. And that's where the trap begins. Because ignoring a court summons feels surprisingly rewarding at first. You don't have to deal with uncomfortable conversations. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to read legal documents. You don't have to think about judges or courtrooms. The problem seems to disappear. And, as you know, human beings love disappearing problems. Every time Jason walked past that kitchen drawer, he felt a little relief. The papers were inside, out of sight, out of mind. Weeks passed, then a month, then another. Eventually, Jason stopped thinking about the lawsuit entirely. The envelope became just another object hidden somewhere in his house. Meanwhile, something was happening, something important, something dangerous. The legal process was moving forward without him. That's the part many people never understand. A lawsuit is like a train. Once it starts moving, it doesn't stop because one passenger decides not to board. The train keeps going. The schedule continues. The destination remains the same, whether you're on it or not. While Jason was living his life, deadlines were expiring, documents were being filed, court records were being updated. The plaintiff was participating. The court was participating. Everyone was participating, except Jason. And eventually, the court noticed. One Saturday afternoon, Jason sat on his couch watching football. His favorite team was losing. He was yelling at the television, complaining about the referee, arguing with friends through text messages. completely unaware that a decision was being made that would soon affect his life. At that very moment, the lawsuit was advancing. The person suing him had done everything required. Jason had done nothing. Imagine walking into a debate competition. One person stands at the podium ready to speak. The other person's chair is empty. Minutes pass, then more minutes. Still, nobody arrives. Eventually, the judges stop waiting. The competition proceeds. That's often what happens when someone ignores a summons. The court doesn't chase people around begging them to respond. The court doesn't pause indefinitely. Eventually, decisions get made, and one of those decisions can be devastating. A default judgment. Jason had never heard the term before. Most people haven't. But that phrase would soon become one of the most expensive phrases he had ever encountered. 3 months later, Jason pulled into a grocery store parking lot. It was a completely normal day. Sunny weather, busy parking lot, nothing unusual. He grabbed a shopping cart, walked through the aisles, bought milk, eggs, chicken, bread, a few snacks. Nothing exciting. At checkout, the cashier scanned everything. $87.12. Jason inserted his debit card. Declined. He frowned. That's odd. He tried again. Declined. The cashier smiled awkwardly. Jason felt embarrassed. He knew money was in the account. He had been paid 2 days earlier. He tried a third time. Declined. Now people behind him were waiting. He stepped aside and opened his banking app. Then everything changed. Jason stared at the screen. His balance was far lower than expected. Far lower. For several seconds, he simply stood there, confused, then concerned, then frightened. There was a notice attached to the account, a legal notice, a court-related notice. His heartbeat accelerated. Suddenly, the forgotten envelope flashed into his mind.
The kitchen drawer, the lawsuit, the summons, the deadline, the paperwork, everything, all at once, like a punch to the chest. Jason left the store immediately. He drove home, opened the kitchen drawer, pulled out the envelope, and for the first time since receiving it, he actually paid attention. Every page, every line, every warning, every instruction, everything he should have read months earlier. That's when he realized something horrifying. The lawsuit hadn't disappeared. It had grown, quietly, patiently, without his knowledge. The problem he had ignored wasn't gone. It had simply been waiting. Over the following weeks, Jason discovered something many people learned too late. The lawsuit itself wasn't necessarily the biggest problem anymore. The judgment was.